Today, guys, we're going to be reacting to the new MLSNext quality of play rankings. So let's go. I've gotten several emails asking me to do a reaction video like this. Last month, MLSNext came out with a new ranking system that they're going to use for U13 and U14 for the upcoming season. And already, a lot of the national pundits, popular podcasts, and YouTube channels have kind of weighed in on this.
I think MLS is taking this to a completely new level, which is really scaring me.
Using the framework of what MLSNext is trying to do, defined as quality, right? I think the big question is, how do we define quality? Who gets to define it?
Let's do this. They have a press release that I want to go through, and then there is an accompanying video that explains it and kind of shows this quality of play rankings in more detail. So let's go through that and then discuss. This is from April 2nd, and we'll just go through this kind of word for word. MLSNext has unveiled its groundbreaking quality of play rankings for U13 and U14, which go beyond the traditional results of the game to focus on a complete performance of individuals and teams. So I guess this is saying that instead of wins and losses, they're going to look at other things, which I might argue is more important younger. I mean, at least they're only doing it for U13 and U14, but potentially the focus should be on winning as you get older. And as you're younger, even, U9, U10, U11, that's when the development and how you play maybe makes more of a difference for me. So pilot program, this is a pilot program marking the first time these age groups are ranked on this metric rather than traditional wins and losses. Okay, so how's this going to work? The quality of play rankings are calculated by TACA's analytical formula that evaluates gameplay and focuses on the caliber of the team's offensive and defensive actions in a match. So this is really tough, I think, because so much of this is going to be subjective, right? Like so much of this is, what do I think, or whoever's programming this, TACA analytical algorithm to say was a good decision or a good play, right? Whereas obviously wins and losses are not subjective. You either scored more goals than the other team or you didn't. But let's move on. So MLSNext aims to shift the paradigm in player development to focus predominantly on the process and progress in conjunction with individual match results. Okay. These rankings are designed to promote positive in-game moments and strategic development among younger age groups rather than placing sole focus on athletic traits, which can disproportionately impact games at the youngest ages. Again, I think, just to put this in the most simplest terms, like we're talking about kick and run ball, let's just say, right? Like, and that's just, we know that's not great. I think the focus maybe even needs to be younger than this. Because when you get, also it's the level too. I mean, U13, U14, MLSNext is essentially the highest level of play in that age group in the country. Most of those kids are fairly well developed in comparison to the rest of the players in the country. So to start saying that we need to do something about developing those players, I would argue potentially the younger players and even players of the same age who are not playing at that level, maybe that's more of an important sort of focus. Whereas, they're really getting into the performance phase here at U13, U14, especially at MLSNext level. Okay, these are pretty much all kids who want to play in college or potentially go pro. Now, whether that happens or not is a totally different discussion. But we're getting into really serious committed players. Wins and losses and how that works actually matters quite a bit. But anyway, let's go on. Each club will be encouraged to have its own identity. Possession, transition-oriented, etc. How are they going to encourage teams to have their own identity? Okay. Coaches will now have further opportunities to highlight team strengths and areas of improvement. Again, very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. This pilot program also emphasizing nurturing young players' passion for soccer, irregardless of wins or losses. And I think that is true, especially if you are on a team that's losing a ton. There are oftentimes, other things that can be said that are positive. The downside to that is, or maybe the flip side of that is that you're not teaching players, wins are important, right? Anyway. And this is a quote from the MLS technical director, Luis Robles, who was a former national team player, goalkeeper, I believe. At Major League Soccer, one of our core objectives is to develop the next generation of talent to positively impact the professional game. I would argue there are a lot of things more important than this new technology or way of grading players if the goal is to develop the next generation of talent to positively impact the professional game. I would argue there are a lot of other things more important. Anyway, for younger age groups, we prioritize their individual development over competition. Again, I think, we're saying this at U13. I think it's too late. Like let's say this at U8. Let's start saying this at U5, U6, because again, video for another day, but there are many things that US Soccer, that MLSNext or MLS could be doing in those ages that would significantly impact them when they get to U13, U14. Anyway, the pilot program allows us to evaluate both team and individual performance. And again, it's how you set it up, right? Like how are the essentially computer programmers, working with the soccer people to decide? So much of this is subjective, right? Helping us track progress while providing more support to players to achieve their goals. Okay. Taka. Now, this is the app that is essentially partnering with MLSNext. And if you've never seen Taka, it's pretty cool. I've seen it, and it is an incredibly complex analysis of players and teams. And maybe I'll talk about in a minute what I feel about that, but it's a pretty cool app. I would say that much. So Taka is a single platform for players and coaches that utilizes industry-leading technology and professional soccer analysis to elevate youth soccer. Taka provides athletes with personal highlights. They do a really nice job of giving athletes certain highlights, which is pretty cool, and exposure while facilitating streamlined and elevated performance analysis for coaches. Taka currently coaches over 50,000 hosts over 50,000 athlete profiles, 20,000 analyzed games, and 6 million individual highlights. Okay, guys, this is the video that MLSNext put out, which goes into more detail and kind of visually shows you how they're going to do this. So let's check it out.
My name is Fred Lipka, Vice President at Major League Soccer, Pro Player Development. With MLS, we are committed to moving our game forward by building the players of tomorrow. This is why we are excited to announce that we are launching a unique and innovative quality of play pilot project through Taka that goes beyond the traditional result of the game to focus on complete performance of individuals and teams. In player development.
So this is kind of what they mentioned in the press release, that it was, again, going away from wins and losses and going more to now, I guess, what they're going to show us here.
We want our games to be full of positive, offensive or defensive act.
So let's just look at this. You can see this purple arrow is somebody is attacking, and the yellow arrow is also somebody attacking. And it says attack, defend, so they're attacking. Description, on ball, intelligence, close control. Okay, quality very good. And then this number 82, dribble, attack, 1v1, good.
Actions and tactical intentions, even if the execution is not perfect.
So you can see there that there's a really nice kind of nifty little turn and spin, which got the player who shot the ball a fantastic opportunity. He just hit the crossbar and missed. So again, they're saying that the on-ball close control was excellent from number 18, but from number 82 who shot it, it was an average shot. So they must now take all of that information and compute a score. Let's see where this is going.
That each club or team should have its own identity, so we have no preferences style of play. Whether it's possession or transition oriented, they should generate positive outcomes and emotion.
I'm just gonna stop it here again. Like, how are they? I don't know how they're gonna like emphasize a style of play, or I think they're just saying that how you play shouldn't affect your score. There's so much unknown here, but again, you can see this is in a, well, I guess they have an attack going here, and there's some players that are getting ranked for dribble, attack, 1v1, link up play, on the ball intelligence, and a through ball.
For players. We want to celebrate all type of team actions, which can happen everywhere on the field, as there is a value in seeing players think and act in synchronization and coordination during the offensive or defensive phases. For MLSNext, we want to shift the paradigm in player development to focus on the process and progress and not only the result. That is
process and progress, the exact same words we heard in the press release. I wish that this gentleman, I didn't catch his name initially, would just tell us what this is, because I feel like he's reading from a script, which I guess it's a video, so it's fine. But just tell me what we're doing here.
This is the goal of quality of play and why we are partnered with Taka to launch this pilot program. We are proud and excited to have Taka as a key partner in our player development pathway.
Oh, here we go. This is how they score.
Evaluate quality of play, we must capture quality at source, whether it happens on or off the ball. Taka's analysts quality assess every significant player action, recording where the action occurred, how good or bad the action was, and providing a categorized description of the skill performed. Once the full game has been analyzed, using the location, the description, and the quality assessment of each action, our models calculate an attacking score, a defensive score, and an overall score for quality of play.
See, this is so hard. I mean, 82.1 is your attacking quality of play, 76.5 is your defensive quality of play, and the overall quality of play was 80. But what was the score? Oh man, I almost feel like this is a great tool for coaches and maybe clubs in terms of insight and how they're playing. But I'm wondering if it's the best way to determine outcomes. You know what I mean?
The scores are then adjusted to recognize the strength of the opponent in each game before being aggregated across the entire season to provide final scores for attack, defense, and overall quality of play. Teams are then ranked on the MLS platform by their quality of play scores, offering an alternative view of performance, which measures more than just goals and results.
Hi everyone, my name is Luis Robles and I'm the Technical Director at MLSNext. What role does competition play in the development of a player? This is a question that we wrestle with at Major League Soccer. And for us, we identify it's about priority.
And I mean, I hate to do this. I feel like he's reading a card, and you know, when you're talking about something like this, just tell me what's happening. Like, you don't need to read a card.
Prioritization. At the U13 and U14 age group, we want to prioritize the player's development from a technical aspect over the results. And this is
so here's what I would say about that. At U13 and U14, technically you've missed it if you haven't started that process way sooner. Like what he's saying is we want to emphasize technical development, but the whole program, the whole talk of whatever they're doing is really more tactical to me. They're saying what was the quality of the attack. I mean, I guess there's some technical elements on finishing and things like that, but I mean, if we're really focused on technical development, this has got to be something that is started at U5, U6, U7, U8. Anyway.
This is why we're launching our U13 and U14 quality of play project. Each team will get analyzed and be given an attacking score and a defensive score plus an overall score. It's using that scoring that will replace our traditional standings with quality player rankings. And then the top teams will get invited to our end of year event, MLS Next Cup.
Ooh. So that's a tough one. I mean, you're basically now saying that there is the potential for a team who's won more games than other teams not to get an invitation to MLS Next Cup. I think that's a slippery slope. I do. I think that wins and losses have to mean something, especially at that age and especially at that level. And, you know, getting an invitation to MLS Next Cup is a big deal for clubs. And so if you're now saying that the wins and losses that happen during the season are going to be superseded by another team who just had a higher quality of play score, again, I think that's a slippery slope. My take is, let's see how it plays out. You know, maybe this is something that is going to be a really big positive for the game in this country. Maybe it's something that will be great for MLS Next. I do have some concerns, especially if we're now saying that a computer score is more important than the actual score of the game. And especially if that means consequences like going to MLS Next Cup could be affected. But I do applaud them for trying an initiative like this. The question just becomes whether or not there may be other things they could focus on instead of this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and see you in the next video.